What's up guys, welcome back. So, Master Duel metagame breakdown. We are at, I believe, day 4 of Master Duel, at least my time. And very nice this one. Road of the King uploaded a metagame breakdown. I will leave a link in the video description, so definitely check that out. I've been featuring Road of the King for years now. It's always like top-notch OCG metagame breakdowns. But for today, 20 deck lists. So 20 decks that I would definitely recommend running. Or you could definitely run them in Master Duel and get good results, right? Get yourself to Platinum, right? That's the thing I guess you want to definitely in this particular season. So for now, as you know, before we get into the deck lists, we know that Master Duel is a separate format with, there are also a couple of sets behind, right? It's much bigger for the OCG players than for the TCG players, but as you know, this is the current ban list for Master Duel, and a couple of cards to note for us TCG players from our perspective is Electromite is legal at 1, Calamities, True King of all Calamities as well, that's an important one for Virtual World for example. Totally Awesome, only at 1, that could be crucial. Grass Looks Greener is legal, again something as a TCG player it's mind-boggling because it's banned for us TCG players for a long time, and so on, right? So these differences, there are more, but these differences are very important to keep in mind. And for Season 1, and you know that might change for Season 2 if Konami depends or wants to implement a ban list for Master Duel, right? Which might be separate for TCG and OCG. So let's zoom in. Again, huge shout out to Road of the King. 20 deck lists, again in no particular order, so it's not like the first deck list is your best choice. Nope, that's not the case. Again, these are 20 potential archetypes / decks you can use, and very conveniently is that for these deck lists, all of them also have like the symbols if the cards are super rare or ultra rare, so it gives you a glimpse of how potentially expensive or hard to get cards, or you know, like the deck is. So that's again fantastic. Let's start off with the first one, and that's Eldlich, mainly stun. This is a kind of a cheap deck. You can definitely get this deck really early and soon. The reason why this deck is so strong is that it's not that hard to play. You're running so many traps, so many floodgates, it prevents your opponent kind of from playing the game. Don't let them set up, and especially in a singles format where, you know, you're not able to use your side deck, where your opponent would side in a Lightning Storm, Harpies, Feather Duster, evenly matched against these kind of stun decks. This deck definitely shines, and again, it's super easy to get. So for me, it's definitely something I would recommend if you're not knowing anything of the format, you're new, or you want to pick up the Master Duel again, definitely try this deck out. The second one, the right side, is Drytron. This is a bit harder and again somewhat different to, or at least what we are used to now here in the TCG, because Eva is at 3, if I'm not mistaken, here in the Master Duel format, but I feel definitely a 2-off, because you want to send her to the graveyard with Beatrice to get 4 negations during your opponent's turn, if you're able to start with Drytron. So basically, Drytron as a ritual deck, superb, it's powerful, but does lose to well-timed hand traps and to Colossus, right? And Droll as well as a hand trap, Droll and Lockbird. But fantastic deck list. Maxis, again, it's also legal for the Master Duel format, but again, banned for us TCG players. But I definitely would not recommend, if you're a beginner, don't pick up Drytron, but it's a powerful deck. Triple Benten, Herald, Maxis, and it's super straightforward. Again, all focused on getting out the Herald, right? Herald of Creation, I believe the name is, yeah. Anyway, next up we have Virtual World. Virtual World is a little bit in the void, I guess, for us TCG players. The deck is not good anymore because of True King of all Calamities. It's banned for us TCG players, but at 1 in the OCG. So that's why it's definitely a good deck for Master Duel. You know, get yourself to a Platinum rank. Plus, it's not, well, it kind of counts for most decks, right? You have to play test, you have to get yourself into the combos, but Virtual World is definitely a good deck to get yourself up there because of True King of all Calamities. But it's one of those cards that might get banned if Konami decides to drop a ban list here on Master Duel, but let's face it, that might be something for the next season. Next up, we have another good pick, and that's, well, we call it in the TCG Birds, Bird Up, TriBrigade Birds, or whatever you want to call it. It's, I think, one of the best decks to, you know, for us TCG players, but on Master Duel as well. It's decent, well, it's kind of easy to get, as you see. A lot of normal cards. I mean, the most hand traps are ultra rare, but as you see, I mean, all the decklists are, most of the decklists are running Imperm, Droplets, Call by the Grave, Edge Blossom. So you can splash those in basically every deck. So Bird Up, very easy to play. Rank 1s, Zeus is a powerful extra deck card. And of course, the link portion of the deck to set up your beast being the TriBrigades. So definitely something I would recommend. Zoodiac TriBrigade is legal on Master Duel, better on Master Duel because Trident is legal. And then again, you know, no Barrage, no Red Peer. That hurts, but the TriBrigade package is still very, very strong as a deck, right? And any beast hybrid between TriBrigades and here in this case Zoodiac, you know, it will definitely get you there as a player, right, on ranked duels. Right side, this is quote-unquote pure Zoodiac, which again, Trident is legal. No Broad Bull, obviously Broad Bull is just ridiculous, but Trident at 1 just makes the deck. Plus Utopic Future, being that monster negation, is again very, very crucial. But again, not that hard to play, and as you see, Zoodiac is one of those decks that is main decking, like half of the deck is hand traps, basically. And of course, it can run the Solemn package as well. So if you're an early to begin player, an early player, I would definitely go for Zoodiac also. Not that hard to play. Plus powerful. Next up we have Burning Abyss / PK Fire, Phantom Knights, any form of hybrid. Between that, heavily focused on a rank 3 engine, Break Sword here in your extra deck, Levier, Utopic Future, Zeus, again as a powerful extra deck monster. Again, a solid deck. It's decent hard to play. The Cross Art Designators here as well, you know, to counter your opponent's hand traps, but it's definitely a solid deck. It definitely gets you, you know, up there in the ranking duels. Next up, this is an iffy one. Right side, we see Madolche. Madolche is a very powerful deck. You definitely need Cross Art Designator because, you know, your opponent could have hand traps against you. They have a lot of one-card combos to OTK, set up like a big board, you know, that your opponent can't overcome, but it's a hard deck to play. Well, it's a hard deck to pick up, not to play, but it's a hard deck to pick up from scratch, to, you know, try to get used to the combos, right? Those one-card combo lines and decision trees you have to make. I wouldn't recommend it as a beginner, but it's definitely a solid deck because of all of those one-card combos. Left side, this is definitely a deck that you could pick up as a beginner. Invoked or Fusion or Invoked Dogmatika or Shaddolls Dogmatika. Very powerful deck, heavily reliant on floodgate monsters like Makaba, the Invoked Fusion, Winda as well for Shaddolls that prevents both players from, you know, special summoning multiple times during the same turn. So that's also a huge floodgate. So definitely get yourself into Invoked or any form of Fusion variant. Definitely, you know, it will be worth it. Next up, and speaking of rank 1 link plays, or, you know, like link plays and free advantage, Prankkids. Prankkids is also not that easy to pick up from scratch, but it's definitely going to be worth it. Then again, it's one of those decks that's super weak to Maxi, so definitely get your Call by the Graves, Cross Out Designators ready if you want to play Prankkids, but it's a strong deck. Meow Meow being that link 1, plus super focused on using the Fusion Butler during your opponent's turn to destroy their entire board. So Prankkids, it's definitely up there as a current top decks in Master Duel. Speaking of top decks, left side, this is a deck that we are not able to play in the TCG, and that's because Colossus is banned, but at 1 in the OCG, so it's legal at 1 here in Master Duel. And as a beginner, I would definitely recommend picking this. It's not that hard, and getting out Colossus is huge because it prevents your opponent from searching, and basically any deck is searching, right? So get out Colossus as soon as possible and sit on your Floodgate. And Triple Torrential, delicious, right? So yeah, Thunder Dragon or Danger Thunder Chaos, something like that, definitely nice. Right side, Dragon Maids, that's a not super top tier, you know, you kind of could look to its bigger brother being Dragon Link, but Dragon Maids, I mean, if you like the artwork, if you like a deck, that's still the message I want to give. If you like a particular deck, just play that particular deck, right? But Dragon Maids, it's cool, but it's not the best deck from these, you know, 20 decks in this particular video. Left side, Zealots. Zealots was the top tier deck of one of the best decks back in 2019. Basically a very cheap deck as well, because it was like a structure deck, or most cards. Here in this, it's a super control based deck, better because of stuff like Mexi. So again, I would definitely recommend getting Mexi, well, Mexi obviously, but running Zealots, Salamangreats, because it's not that hard. You know, then again, only one. It's iffy. I'm not sure if I. Yeah, just go for it, especially with Zealot, right? Right side, and that's, I think, one of the best decks currently that you could pick on Master Duel, and that's Sky Striker. Sky Striker is the fact that now we have double engage on Master Duel. The deck is just so much better compared to us TCG players where engage is only at 1. So I would definitely recommend Sky Striker, even though it's not the easiest deck to pick up, because of, well, it does have some standard combos, but multi-roll is such a broken card. It's like a spellbook of judgment. So for the matter of fact, it's an unfair deck. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely one of the best decks you can run now, because I mean, you can run so many hand traps and still get away with it. Left side, this is not an easy deck to pick up. Ignister, it's a super link based deck to put up like an extra link board, a big floodgate as well, that's unaffected by card effects, but I wouldn't really recommend picking this one up, unless of course you like link based decks and link summoning. It's there, very similar to the right side, here being Code Talkers, again very similar to the left side Ignister. Both decks are heavily focused on link summoning. I'm not a huge fan of both of these, but I mean, if you are, definitely go for it, because they are competitive. Now, left side, and that's a cool one, Spyrals, and that's, you know, it struck me that Master Plan is legal. It's banned for us TCG players, but the fact that it has so many superb 2-card combos leading to that Link 2, being double Helix, to open up more ridiculous plays, you know, set up Sleeper during your first turn, for example, break your opponent's boards. It's definitely a solid deck, and Magicians Souls, it's a superb card, free draws as well. So it's definitely something to pick up, but it's not the easiest deck to pick up. There are, you know, definitely decks that are much easier. And speaking of easy, well, not actually. Right side DD or DDDs. It's a deck that you want to go first, set up multiple negations, multiple boss monsters during your first turn. But this is, I feel, from all the decks here in the video, the most difficult deck. Like, I've been playing back or ever since 2004, and from all the decks that I've played, I've witnessed in the game, this is one of the most difficult decks, because there are so many decision trees, so many combos you need to keep track of, plus if your opponent like has one hand trap or one negation, it's just very, at least it's not that simple to recover from that, as in, okay, what's my next play that I'm going to do or that I have to do. So I wouldn't really recommend picking up DDD if you absolutely have no idea how to run it. Right? I mean, you could learn, but you know what I mean. The last two, left side, we have Pendulums. Well, Electromite is at 1, so Pendulums is definitely a potential deck to get you up to Platinum rank in Master Duel, but not sure if, you know, Electromite is going to stay illegal because it's banned for us TCG players. But if you like Pendulums, definitely go for it. Same for the right side. Another Pendulum deck being Pendulum Magicians, a very superb deck, and it's just up there because Electromite is at 1. But both, well, Endymion on the left side, it's for me harder to play compared to, let's say, Pendulum Magicians, but I'm more, you know, leaning towards a Pendulum Magician variant, the right side, other than Endymion. But again, both are strong to get you high up the ranking ladder. So for me, that's it. Hopefully this was useful. Definitely check out the link in the video description again for more information and, you know, for Road of the Kings metagame analysis. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lead signing out. Peace.